Stage prison is like a nightmare. I wouldn't wish it on my enemy. So, all the time violence, somebody doing something to somebody else or hurting somebody else, or it's not about correction. I had not been corrected about anything since I was knocked out. All that time they not correct me on anything. I spent about 39 years and a couple of months in jail altogether, the state prison.
39 years of incarceration, I can't even begin to imagine going in at a time and then coming out, and what you know is completely different. Society is completely different. It's not often that you build those independent living skills in prison. It's survival.
Jail was never the place for Joe to go. That was the absolute worst place that you can send anybody in Joe's situation. And it's unfortunate that it took this long for us to connect with Joe, or for Joe to connect with us.
Well, when I was 7, I got put in the state hospital because of my behavior problem. And all it did was get worse. It made me more of an animal than I was. One of the employees there, you know the squeegees, the rubber squeegees you rubber water? He had a piece of that rubber like that long. And he keep it in his back pocket, and he whipped the kids with it. And my parents used to take me home on weekends. They undressed me, put me on the dresser, and see how many new marks I had. So that gives you an idea how it started, how my aggressive behavior started. I was still in a state hospital when I started using pills. I was using pills and alcohol, drinking like that. And then at 14, I was doing that. And after that, I would go home and drink and smoke marijuana. And then when I was 18, I came out, bothered so that I could stay home as long as I behaved. And I felt one night I messed up, so he told me I had to go back to the hospital or get out of the house. So I got out of the hospital and go back to the hospital. And I slept on the train, slept in hallways and streets in Brooklyn. I got on welfare. It was never enough. Whatever you do, it's never enough. So I went out stealing and robbing, stuff like that, to get more, and that's what happened. I don't know, like I said, it's wrong, but you do what you have to do.
A lot of us are fortunate to have family and support to always help us when we're in trouble or to bail us out. Joe didn't have that. He didn't have any of it. He had walls and incarceration and confinement his whole life. And when you come out of that environment just to be thrown into society, you really don't know how to navigate through the complex systems of housing and emergency services, and he was just released.
My parents were never there. My father worked he worked in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and my mother worked in the hospital. There was hardly anybody ever there. Just me, my brother and sister were the only ones there. And there was no real care for us, so we just did whatever we had to do. That was it. So this is the best worker they got here. She works hard here mostly. Too hard. She works so hard, I get tired. With the health actress, Kristen helped me with that. She makes all the appointments and gets the transport for me.
There's a wraparound service at People USA. So in addition to supportive housing, you have care coordination. His care coordinator, Christina, is amazing.
Yeah, we've talked about my lived experience, right, Joe?
Yeah.
We've talked about it. We've gone to meetings together.
AA meetings, we went to AA meetings together.
Yeah.
So I'm often asked how the peer approach is different from traditional approaches in behavioral health care. The difference is the mutuality. The difference is the lived experience of being able to share that you're not alone. Those of us that work here at People have been through similar challenges, similar traumas, and similar experiences. And when you have that camaraderie, when you have that relationship, you have a different level of trust in the people that you work with and the people that work with you.
They've been through it, and they know about it. So they by them knowing what they went through, they could feel almost like you feel when you feel messed up and you want to go out and do something. So you could talk to them.
I personally assisted Joe in his recovery by just sharing my story with him and relating to him. You know, me being in recovery myself, I know how difficult it can be day to day to stay clean and sober. It's an everyday process. I know what it's like to not have a permanent place to go. I know what it's like to be incarcerated. I can only imagine what 39 years of incarceration is. 1 or 2 days is too much.
And Dominic, I met Dominic long before he was a director of the senior housing program. I've known him for a couple of years now. We got along good before, and we get along better now. So good. He helps people get to housing, and he has a lot to do with like the rent situations of some people like me.
Well, I first met Joe, we were here at the Putnam Rose House. The Rose House is a respite setting for individuals looking to basically take a break and to get support. There's a peer on staff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a non-clinical environment, person-centered, trauma-informed, and they could possibly get linked to other services from here. Joe's comfortable at the Rose House. He knows he can come here for help, and I think that's why he returned. Because he knew he had a place that he could go and he wouldn't be turned away.
The biggest intervention that we have provided to Joe would be housing him. Dominic found him an apartment and he moved him in fairly quickly. And Joe has been successfully housed there since about April, and it's significantly improved his life.
The permanent housing is, I know where I can go. I know where I go at night. It's not that I have to wander the streets.
I don't believe that somebody can recover in their mental health if they're not stably housed. That's just my belief. Somebody can't get to the doctor or to a psychiatrist if that's what they want to do, if they're worried about where they're going to sleep at night. They can't go see a substance use counselor if they're worried about where they're going to sleep at night. If they're getting displaced from motels and have to spend all day at DSS to get replaced, when are they going to worry about getting to see a doctor, a psychiatrist, or a substance use counselor? It doesn't work. The housing first model, it's an evidence-based approach where we focus primarily on the person's housing needs first. So we don't focus on anything else. If somebody's homeless, we get them housed. And then we worry about everything else after that. Any mental health challenges, substance use challenges.
I got it, and that's it. It's mine. And nobody can take it, nobody can bother me about it.
He has stability now. Instead of wondering where you're going to sleep at night, he knows that he has a place to go home to. And that makes all the difference in somebody's recovery.
One day he woke up and he came to us and said, "I'm ready for a rehab." And that's the best part, of what we do is it's self-determination. He figured it out himself and he voluntarily went to the rehab. And that's what you want in people. You want them to want that service. You want them to want to do better for themselves. And Joe was right there.
See, I can't fall back like that no more. I can't fall back that far. I can't go back that far because I go back. If I do it and keep doing it, I'll be where I was in 1985. I'll be out of control, out of hand. And I don't want to do that. I don't think I can do another 30 years, 33 years in the prison. I can't. I don't want it. And I'm not gonna.
I can always count on him to help me set up, to take things down, and when I need things from like the pantry, because he volunteers there as well, he always, he'll meet me there. He'll go in, he'll go shopping around the pantry with me and make sure that people get like the best of the best. So it's Joe.
And I try to get by, and that's what I do. I'm getting by. Little help from my friend. Well, she's not just a worker, you're your friend too. I don't know why or how, but she is.